Let's talk about the Eternal Nightfall story part 1. I don't have all the pages. I don't think anyone has the pages yet, but we're missing about 5. So we're going to talk about the ones that are pretty easily to obtain. So if you didn't want to read, we can go through all of them and kind of get the general story. I think the beginning isn't going to be very impactful, but maybe it'll reveal something crazy at the end. But let's talk about the first story. Essentially, this is just Doom. We don't know which Doom, 2099 or the time traveling one. But this Doom gave Chromium to Dracula with Darkhold pages. This is how we got the Eternal Night with Dracula's blood plus the Darkhold spell. Eternal Night ensues. The big question is, Doom was like, hey, we both need some freedom. Why does Doom need some freedom? I think, unfortunately, through the reflection, we don't know which Doom it is, because it could be the time-traveling Doom who's like, hey, what's up? Let's do some crazy shit. Or it could be the Doom 2099 who's reacting to what's going on, and he's giving Dracula this power so he can do what he wants to do. Don't know, but Doom is definitely making his first big move in the story. So I'm expecting season 2 has to do something with what Doom has cooked up, because Eternal Night is just setting up for whatever Doom is doing. But enough of that, let's go to the next story. This one is kind of just like a joke story to me. So it's being told by the ghost dog. And essentially, it just says, hey, Doctor Strange got trapped in the mirror dimension. I'm just calling it the mirror dimension because I think that's what was said in his lore content. But Khonshu wants the Darkhold to kill all vampires and free New York. Doctor Strange is like, that's going to kill way too many people. Let's not do that. So they play this stone game, which is what you see here. Doctor Strange beats Khonshu, and then Khonshu gives Doctor Strange the Darkhold and frees him from the mirror dimension. So Doctor Strange is no longer trapped. And Khonshu's not a bad guy. It was very borderline. Khonshu's just doing what he does, which is trying to protect Night, and it just so happens that it's pretty drastic. That's pretty much it for this story. It's kind of like a funny, like, haha, like, thank you for reading kind of story. So next, let's go to Blade. This one is probably the least impactful of all the stories, but it has a few good things. So Blade, with the help of Spider-Man and the Human Torch, fought Dracula. Blade lost. Dracula imprisoned him, as well as this Asgardian squirrel, where if the horn pierces Dracula, he dies. Anything dies, really. That's what it said. So apparently Dracula summoned it to imprison both of them. And Blade makes the assertion that basically Dracula's like, okay, you two are the biggest threats, so let's just get rid of you right off the bat. That's what's going on. Pretty short, pretty sweet, but really cool picture nonetheless. So let's get to the last picture, which is probably the most confusing picture to everyone who actually isn't reading the stories at all, because there's a lot going on and it's really weird. So let's first just talk about everyone here. These are the Eternal Knights. Basically, Iron Man and Moon Knight basically kind of came to the agreement that, we need to actually do something about this vampire threat, no matter the cost. Fantastic Four and Squirrel Girl go, whoa, that's a little crazy. Let's find a peaceful way to save everyone. Yeah. So Iron Man goes and makes armor for everyone here and includes Chromium in them to get time rewinding ability. So if they get hurt, you rewind time and you can survive. That way you can start fighting these like vampire regeneration abilities. So that's why they all look the way they do. It's just the aesthetic. They kind of make a good little joke about it. So it is Moon Knight, Iron Man, Wolverine, Winter Soldier, and then Cyclops. I forgot her name, but I'm pretty sure that's her name. Now, there's also Adam Warlock here. They didn't include him in the story. They didn't mention him at all by name for some reason, but he's there. I don't know. Yeah, he's there. And so the more interesting part is there's 2 other characters. Now, they could be the exact same, which is this guy right here. Right? He could be the same or he could be different. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning on the side of they're probably the same. But apparently, this is Black Panther, obviously, right? With the the panther, the purple, the white armor, right? In the story, it specifically calls him white armor, and they wanted to see him fight Dracula for the ownership of the army, was what I got from it. And so it supports it because I think it was Reed Richards' lore video of him in general, he talks about how Black Panther came to New York, but no one found him. So it very much appears that Black Panther got captured, turned into a vampire, and he's fighting for Dracula. But in this current story, they're making it seem like he's not with the vampires. So who knows? Who knows if Black Panther's god is supporting him, not getting all kind of crazy and stuff. But the bigger question is, where is Morbius? Because Morbius is based in New York. He's a vampire. If we're getting Blade introduced, then we should definitely get Morbius as well as a hero. So I believe someone mentioned him in one of the lores. I would have to go back and relook at who said it. But it seems a little crazy that we're getting Black Panther vampire, but not Morbius. So we'll see how it goes out, but the big fight on the ground is ensuing while Fantastic Four is trying to save some time. So I'm pretty sure that these three are going to be really just talking about probably Blade getting free, the big fight between Dracula, and the aftermath, right? Those are probably going to be the three things that happen. If it's not that, then it's probably going to be more on the lines of, Blade's locked away for good. That's why we're not going to get him for a minute. And then kind of just the connector pieces of kind of just inheriting the story. What is the Fantastic Four doing? Do they need to go get something else? And that's what probably is going to lead to the next story. For these, I'm pretty sure this is probably going to just talk about, this is probably just going to be the, how did Dracula come to life and how did he change all of New York, right? Because obviously we got the actual ability. I think this will be the account of the beginning of the story of him the first few days. And then this will be the Fantastic Four jumping into action because, all of this doesn't talk about that. So we don't know why the Fantastic Four hears. The lore really doesn't talk about it. So I'm sure this is going to be the clear indicator of how the Fantastic Four, where they're at in the very beginning, and this is them going to be popping in. So that's the story. That's pretty much what's going on in terms of the Eternal Night so far. But until next time, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think is going to happen next. And let me know if you want this Black Panther skin more than anything, because let me be honest, this is so freaking cool. Okay, catch you guys later. Peace.